welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Karen Prince, and today I'm gonna show you guys how I did my hair. Okay, so for today's hairstyle, we are doing a hybrid install. So we are going to be doing some individual boho braids with crochet install in the back. So we're cutting down on time, okay? It's giving, oh, your hair is braided. Actually, halfway it is, halfway it's not. Okay, it's gonna cut down on time. This is DIY friendly, and yeah, I'm gonna show you how to do it. Yeah. Okay, so if you want to see how I did my hair, then go ahead and please stay tuned. Okay, so today we are going to be using hair from Ywigs. All right, this is the water curly texture, and I went with 18 inches, and I did use 3 packs. So this is what the hair looks like straight out of the pack. Okay, this is the texture that it gives, but you guys know I love to wash my hair, so this is what the hair looks like after it has been washed. I always wash my hair before every install. I did go ahead and use a bit of synthetic hair. I just used some of the leftover hair that I had, and I only needed a very small amount. This is the Rasta Free Kids 3 times pack. This is how much hair I had left out of that first little bundle that I used, okay? So if you're interested, this is what the packaging looks like. Okay, so to get started, you're going to want to separate hair for your braids and then separate the hair for where you want to have the crochet install. I went with a middle U part. You can do whatever you like. And then this is just my braid pattern. Please don't come for me, okay? It's a little janky, but it's better than my other ones. I made sure I had cornrows going across under my braided section so that when it's time to crochet my hair, it can just kind of fall straight down. Now I left this tail in at the bottom of my braid so that when it's time for me to take out my crochet install, I can just unbraid my hair and do it that way. When you are sectioning the U part for your boho braid leave out, please allow enough space for you to make several rows of braid. A tip for me is to do your boho braids first and then do the crochet install, because when you do the boho braids first, you can see how full the hair looks before you actually install the rest of the crochet. Okay, so I feel like I haven't talked to you guys verbally in a while, but let's get started. So for me personally, I am going to use a piece of synthetic hair to start. Now this piece is 10 inches. It's the same in length as my natural hair. Okay, so if your hair is thick, you can, you know, skip this part. All right, and then for this particular braid, I am going to use 3 pieces. I'm using the Sacred Scalp and Hair Balm to like condition my hair, and then I'm going to use the Pattern Beauty gel, which is an edge control. It's really soft, and I'm going to use that for like my braiding gel. I actually really like this. I love both of these actually. This combo together allows my hair to stay soft and conditioned, but also helps me mold it without it being too dry and too much buildup. So first, what I like to do is just take a little bit of this and run it along my hair, and then I'll follow up with the pomade and just put a little bit of this goes a long way, and then I just smooth it along my hair but not in my scalp. So I take the synthetic hair and I hold one side together and I leave 2 pieces like dangling like that. So I'm going to do the same thing with the actual crochet human hair. I'm going to take one side, leave it whole, and then take the other side, split it in 2 to line it up with the actual synthetic hair, and this is how I'm going to install it into my head. So to start off, I just like to separate my natural hair into 2 sections with my finger like this, and then as I'm separating, that's when I'm like adding in and folding in the hair. And before I start to actually braid, I want to leave these loose pieces out at the top. So I pull out the human hair and then I braid just 1 rotation over, just so I can pull out that other side of human hair and leave it against the top of my head so that it's not inside. So I braid down a couple of rotations really slow. So I braid this really slow so that it doesn't bunch up at the center. I have to reattach it. Start braiding down, okay? Use your index finger to keep this top part in place until it's secure, and then start to move down, okay? Now I'm going to take another piece of crochet hair, and this time I'm going to hold it at this point right here, not on the string, but where the actual hair and the string meet. Hold it there, and then I'm going to line that up with one of my side sections and let the other one go. And I'm going to line that up with one of my side sections and then let the other piece fall in the middle and begin to braid down. When you add it in at that point, you can pull out the boho piece quicker. So I'm going to pull that piece out now. And then for this particular braid, I'm just going to continue to braid down. Braid down a little way, and then pull out another boho piece and pull it up, and then braid down. Now I'm going to add in my next boho piece the same way I added in the first one, by holding it where the string and the hair connects, line it up with the side string, and braid it into the section. Now what I'm going to do here, instead of pulling out the whole piece, I'm going to split this piece in two. I am just like stretching the hair out, so I'm not pulling out the whole piece, I'm pulling out half, and then I'm going to braid down a little ways, just so that I can have more hair coming out the braid along the length of the braid without adding in extra pieces. So I braid down a little bit. Now I'm going to pull out the other half of that boho piece that we just split in half. Now I'm going to braid down more, and I'm going to do that for the second half of that third boho piece that we just added in. Take it, split it in half, pull it up, and braid down. I'm just braiding down past the synthetic hair and my natural hair, and then I am going to stop braiding. Pulling out the last piece of that other half. Now you want to leave one boho piece for the end, okay? And then I'm just going to split that in three, and then I'm going to braid down. For me, I'm just going to stop braiding. If you wish to, you can go ahead and tie a knot at the end, but since this has a curlier texture, I'm just going to stop braiding. If you're doing this as a professional service, I highly recommend that you tie the end just so that it doesn't come loose, okay? But since this is a small piece of hair, most likely the fine piece will not unravel, okay? After I braid it, I just twist it a couple of times, and then voila, this is how the braid looks at the end. On the braids where I did two pieces, I didn't do that thing at the top where you leave the hair out. I just started my braid, braided down, and then added in the boho piece. So these are just added in normal. I added my first boho piece like this, normal. I pull out both strands, add in my second boho piece, split it in two, and then braid down, take out the other half, braid down, and I split it as much as I can to make sure that there's hair coming out along the length of the braid. And you're going to want to leave, you know, a piece at the end so that the end of the braid can have some boho texture, okay? And that's how I did the pieces where I added in too. Another thing that I want to mention is, so when I show you my hair map, it's going to be 2 braids here and 2 braids here on these 4 rows. I decided to take those 2 braids and make them into 1. So instead of 2 braids here and 2 braids here, it's just 1 braid on each row because my hair was falling too forward in my face, and that was not really complementing my face shape, and it was just too much hair in my face. So a tip for me to you is, if you try a middle part and your hairline comes a little bit forward, make sure you push that braid back a little bit so you can have your hair falling out of your face. That way it gives you more shape, and when you cut the layers, it really frames your face better. So if this is your first time crocheting, all you're going to do is take your crochet needle, slide it under your braid, grab the crochet hair where the thread is, pull the hair under the braid, make a loop, and then pull the human hair through the loop. And that is how you install. At this point, I had about 1.5 packs left, so I'm just filling my hair up according to how full I want it to be. I started off in the back by installing 2 crochet pieces at a time, and I did that for 10 pieces. So I had like 2 rows of 5 of 10 pieces, if that makes sense. And then after that, I just went ahead and started to crochet up the sides. I started going in between using 2 pieces and 1 piece where I felt like I wanted more fullness. So this is what it looks like once I added about 50 pieces. So this is like half a bundle in my head right here. Here at this point, I'm just adding in 1 piece. I believe I added in 1 piece across this braid, but once again, you're just gonna, crochet it in as need be. I just went ahead and crochet pieces across the rest of those horizontal braids, and then once I got to the top, I did go in with 2 pieces at a time and crochet them across the last horizontal braid that fits under the boho braids. And this is kind of what it looks like. You do not have to crochet the hair directly next to each other for your crochet install to still turn out looking full, because remember, your braids are going to cover all of that. So this is what it looks like after I crocheted in the remaining of the 3 packs from the crochet hair. Okay, so I'm going to cut some layers into this because it's just a bit too heavy for me. I already started on this side, and I'm just pulling from the top and cutting down like this. I'm really just focusing on trying to bring some height at the top and cut out some of the bulk. And cutting layers at the top will help lift the style a little bit so that it doesn't look so flat. Like, you can kind of already see this side has a little bit more volume and this side is just heavy. I'm just gonna cut and then even out the bottom just like this. I'm going to continue to cut my hair off camera and clean up what I need to. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go ahead and define the curls. I don't want something that's like overly defined. I'm really trying to achieve big hair, so I'm just gonna use some really lightweight products. I'm going in with the Sacred Moisture Lotion and then the oil, and I'm gonna combine these 2. And then I'm also just gonna saturate my hair down. So you just wanna work in very small manageable sections, that may vary from person to person, and then really soak down your section with water, especially the ends. That's where I want the most definitions, the ends. And then work the water through with your hands. And then I'm just gonna go in with my favorite, the unbrush. When you are brushing, you need to hold on to your section, okay? That is just to help with tension, and your natural hair is still connected to this, so you just want to be mindful of that. So after I brush through the section, I'm then going to take some product like that much, and then several drops of oil. Rub it together and work it through the section, starting off on the ends just like this, and then work up. Just really smooth the hair down. You want to like smooth down the cuticle layer, okay? And then what I like to do is further section off the small section to add my finger coils on the end. And I just wrap it around my finger like so. And then I pull down. Okay, and that is how you're going to get the finger coil. Depending on how big of a section you make, you may end up making more or less finger coils. The smaller you make the coil, the tighter the curl will be. Or also, the smaller you make the section that you coil, the tighter the curl will be on the end. So now I'm just going to go ahead and let my hair air dry. If it doesn't dry down in the time that I need it to, I am going to go ahead and use my diffuser to help it dry down. Okay, we're back. So I did go ahead and use a diffuser because I needed this to dry. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and separate the curls. My hair is 100% dry, but I'm just going to go ahead and begin to separate the curl. And then I'm going to take a wide tooth comb and I'm going to try to fluff it out to get it as big as I want. When you comb or pick out your hair and you want more volume, just be sure not to curl through all the way through the bottom of the ends because you will mess up the curl. So just stretch basically. And I'm just going to do this for a while until I get the desired width that I'm going for. Take these pieces out that's around my face and retwist them around my finger to kind of frame my face. I have my scissors here, so if I feel like I want to fix something or make the hair around my face suit my face shape a little more, I am just going to cut it with the scissors. Okay, but that is pretty much how I did this style. Another tip is anytime you pull your curl apart, you just retwist it around your finger so that it's not too frizzy. Okay, but yeah. Okay, so I feel like I explained myself really well this go round, or at least in my mind I think I did, because I have not edited anything yet. Okay, but let's get to some basics as far as maintenance. You're going to want to detangle your hair as need be. Please do not let this tangle up on you. You know, when you go to sleep, you can either pineapple your hair, twist it up at night. This hair is versatile in the way in which you want to, you know, protect your hair at night. If you're going to purchase hair, please protect it and care for it as if it was your own, so that you don't feel like you're just, you know, wasting your money. Okay, the hair is going to get bigger over time if you decide to do a wash ago. You can use hot tools on this hair if you choose to do that. Go ahead and make sure, if you use synthetic hair, pull the hair away from the braid and then use the hot tool. Please do not singe your hair into this plastic synthetic hair. You do not want to do that. You do not want to do that. Okay, let me see what else. Maintenance. Oh, as far as what I use, I actually really love the way the Sacred products turned out on this hair. It left my hair really shiny, but you know, there's still definition, but it's not tight. This is what I want. Lightweight hair, not heavy, not crunchy. It is very lightweight. That also contributes to the actual crochet hair itself. As far as the style, it's not heavy. It doesn't feel bulky. I thought it was going to be really big, but when I put the water on it, it did compress down, so it is just like the perfect density. I feel like it is extremely cute, and especially for the fall time coming up, this can be a really cute style. Okay, highly recommend you invest in a diffuser if you want to wear curly hair throughout the fall. Separate your section. As far as diffusing, separate your sections into small sections and then take your diffuser, hold it in place, set a timer for about 2 minutes and kind of move around. Okay, since I have synthetic hair and I wanted to use heat, I did not place it on the areas where the synthetic hair was, because once again, we're not singeing plastic into our natural hair. Okay, I just held it down here at the bottom and I diffused that way. How long I'm just talking so fast. How long can this style last? This style will last as long as you can care for it. Tip for me is when you do your braid down, before I tried crochet hair, I wasn't really particular about how neat I braided my hair down, but the neater you braid it down, do your braids in good sizes, so not too big, not too small. I feel like the size that I did them this time is perfect. Braid your hair down so that it is secure, so that when you go to crochet, the hair under your braid is not lifting. That's a mistake that I made beforehand, okay? And if you do that, I feel like your hair can last as long as you need it to. For me, I'm not wearing any style over 4 weeks. You guys know I change my hair often, so this style may be coming out sooner than later. Also, I'm a fine hair girly, so something that I've learned is that I can't just be leaving hairstyles in my hair for long periods of time anyway. I like to get back to my natural hair and really take care of my natural hair, okay? Styles are fun, okay, but if you're a fine hair girly, there are precautions we need to take, all right? Yes, you can wash your hair in this style, invest in some products that you love, you know, and you'll be good to go. What else do I have to say? I don't have anything else to say. I'm rambling like I always do, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. I cannot express how grateful and how thankful I am to have you guys stopping by my channel every time you see that I post a video. I can't express how thankful I am when you guys leave the sweetest comments. Ooh, I'm trying not to get emotional because the older I get, my birthday just passed, so the older I get, the more emotional I get, and I really have to check myself because it's too much. I'm becoming a crybaby. But you guys leave some of the sweetest messages, and I'm so grateful to have people like you supporting me. Okay, thank you to Ywigs for this beautiful hair. Ywigs always knocks it out the park with their hair. I have no complaints, okay? And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.